MO2 today posted a huge full-year loss after writing down the assumed value of its third-generation mobile phone licenses. Europe's fifth-largest mobile operator total write-down was about £7.9 billion, and that led to a pre-tax loss for the full year of £10.2 billion. MO2 is valued at only £5 billion on the London Stock Exchange. So will the mobile industry ever see third-generation mobile phones making a profit after paying huge sums for the licenses at the height of the telecoms boom? Well, joining us now is Sterling Essex. He is a Senior Vice President of UbiNetics, and Jeremy Green, Principal Analyst at Ovum. Both join us in the studio. So very good afternoon to you, gentlemen. Let's get a comment from you first, Jeremy. Huge write-down from MO2, much bigger than expected. They do the right thing?
Dave, everybody else is going to have to do it eventually. Almost every company in the world that bought a 3G license through an auction overpaid. The licenses were overvalued, though the operators went into it with their eyes open. Everybody's going to have to do that. Now's as good a time to do it as any.
And Sterling Essex, the company, as you'd expect, is still very optimistic about the future for 3G. I know that's an area which your business works in. Do you share that optimism?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's only a matter of time. I think there's lots of compelling reasons why 3G is going to be quite an exciting technology. And eventually it will make a lot of money.
Eventually?
Well, at the moment it's been delayed by a few years or so, but that's a normal thing that happens with advanced technologies. It's happened with previous generations of cellular radio. I think probably it was overhyped, and what we're seeing now is a correction. But fundamentally, underneath, 3G has a lot of benefits to offer consumers and operators as well.
I mean, Jeremy, the MO2 quite rightly admit that they probably did pay too much in the height of telecom boom, but do you also believe that they will eventually recoup the money that they spent on this investment?
I'm not quite as optimistic about that as Sterling. I think the jury is still out over whether 3G really enables super-duper applications that customers really want to pay for. The evidence from Japan, where they've had 3G for more than a year now, is equivocal. That's to say, there's been fairly limited take-up, and those customers who have taken it up are actually spending less money than their 2G equivalents. That's partly because they're getting the efficiency out of the network, so because the operator is carrying that traffic more effectively, they're passing those benefits on to the consumer. But I'm not sure that there's much to point to that says 3G customers are going to be more valuable and more profitable than 2G customers.
Because, I mean, the ARPU sort of assumptions that are made about 3G are pretty ambitious still. I mean, it's a lot of money they have to generate from each customer.
Yes, I think so.
And, you know, I think there are probably two issues there. One is, you know, are they prepared to pay for that? And do they really need the kind of all singing, all dancing things like live video clips so they can look on a very small screen, or being access to the internet, again on a small screen, or what's on the move on a bus?
I think a lot of these things turn out to be quite addictive, actually. You can see, I mean, ARPU in Japan, maybe on the Docomo system, hasn't increased yet, but you can see Vodafone Live with their GPRS system, which provides a lot of the stepping stones towards 3G. The ARPU is increasing. People like that sort of opportunity to actually see video clips and David Beckham's latest hairstyle and various other things. You know, we've got some 3G phones in our building, and people are going around showing football clips. You know, that sort of thing. It's difficult to see how that would take off at the moment, perhaps for our generation, but for the kids and the people who really use this, it will be quite addictive. It's very, very good technology. When you see the difference a broadband connection can make compared with the standard dial-up.
Isn't the problem, though, that, you know, it's all very well saying, you know, these things are nice to have, David Beckham's hairstyle or a goal being scored, but to make money, people need to have them. And it strikes me all the applications we hear about don't really seem actually that core to business. Well, I think that's where the market is. Yeah,
there have been some studies about disposable income and how people spend them. And it's interesting, I think it was Cadbury's a few months ago, noticed that there's a drop in sweets sales to children, because the children are spending the money on the mobiles instead. So there is money available within people's pockets to pay for these services. And actually, they're quite exciting things for kids. I mean, I don't know if you've seen people use some of the new camera phones, but when people play around with them, they're actually quite addictive. Sorry, I'm repeating myself there. But they are very, very fun things to have.
Jeremy, I mean, if your predictions are correct and 3G isn't the all singing, all dancing game that we're all anticipating, What is the impact for that for the industry? Because is this not the catalyst that a lot of telecom companies have been waiting for in order to talk about increasing ARPU and their underlying earnings?
I think the main thing is there is no next big thing. For a long time, the industry 3G was the next big thing, and it was waiting for 3G, and 3G was going to enable everything that was going to be necessary. And in the meantime, while they were waiting, 2.5G GPRS services have come along, and as Vodafone Live is proving, you can do lots of nice, interesting stuff on GPRS if you design the application right, if the device and the software work properly and work together well. 3G is important, and it's important in the operator's plumbing because it lets operators do these things cost effectively if they're going to do it for everybody. If the demand is there, then 3G will turn out to be a very important part of plumbing. If the demand isn't there, then it's going to turn out to be a very expensive mistake.
Okay, Jeremy, thank you for joining us. Jeremy Green from Ovum and Sterling Essex from UbiNetics. Thank you also very much.